All right. Back in America, let's get back into it. Pride Month is upon us. However, the real thing that we need to be taking pride of is our guns. Readily available, incredibly accessible, and super fun to shoot. That's right. You can shoot multiple child targets with it in succession with ease. Cops cower in the fear in the sight of a gun. Ladies love it. They think, "Oh my God, you're so sexy," when you pull your piece out. And the G in LGBT should stand for guns. So yeah. Speaking of which, in that culture, in the past week, since the Uvalde mass shooting happened, the horrific massacre in Uvalde at Robb Elementary School happened, where 19 children that were, up to 4th grade were ruthlessly massacred by a gunman, and 3 adults were murdered. 20 mass shootings have happened. That's right, 20 mass shootings have happened since then. So, that's really cool. And, of course, one of them was the shooting that occurred in the medical facility in Tulsa, Oklahoma yesterday. We were watching that before. There's some new details that have come out since then. I think 5 people, I believe, got killed.
Today.
So let's take a look at what's going on here.
Young victims in Uvalde. 11-year-old Miranda Mathis and 10-year-olds Nevaeh Bravo and Eliana Cruz Torres will all be laid to rest. And now, just hours after President Biden said he's not confident Congress will act on gun control, we have another deadly shooting in this country, this one at a Tulsa medical facility. 4 victims killed. Our John Quinones has the latest.
This morning, authorities are searching for
John Quinones? What the fuck?
answers after a mass shooting in Tulsa, Oklahoma, left 4 people dead.
Wait, why? Wait, what the fuck? Why is John Quinones doing like... John Quinones is about to be like, what would you do if a mass shooting happened? I'm John Quinones.
A shooting at the Natalie building, 6475 South Yelp.
They're running in.
Police seen storming the building after a man entered a medical office armed with a rifle.
The officers immediately rushed to the 2nd floor of the location where the shooting was taking place. When they got there, they found a few people had been shot. A couple were dead at that point.
Authorities say the gunman, who has yet to be identified, died from a self-inflicted gunshot wound at the scene. His motive currently under investigation.
He had 1 long gun, a rifle, and 1 handgun on the scene.
The governor of Oklahoma releasing a statement calling the attack a senseless act of hatred and violence. Police sending a bomb squad unit to a home in a Tulsa suburb, responding to concerns that he could have planted a bomb there. Officials say they cleared the location.
Immediately. Authorities have made it a point to say that they stormed the 2nd floor of that building.
This is blowing my mind. I'm sorry. Having John Quinones do like the regular local news coverage from Tulsa, Oklahoma is very strange to me. I know he works with ABC, obviously. But like the moment that I fucking see John Quinones, I just assume he's going to pop in and be like, well, yes, this shooting was actually not real. We wanted to simulate this mass shooting to find out, what would you do?
Building immediately within minutes. They say had they not done so, there may well have been many, many more victims. Cecilia?
Dog, he killed himself. What do you mean? Okay.
John, thank you. Seems unreal.
That's like, oh my God, cops are so funny. Dog, you don't understand. Like, the shooter saw cops and immediately was like, oh man, I fucking hate cops so much, I'm gonna kill myself. Fuck, I don't want to be in the same room as cops. He was like, oh dude, fuck, ew, cops, boom.
Real, we were talking about another shooting, but here we are.
Hi everyone, George.
Okay. All right, let's see. Police have given possible motive in the shooting.
Went into the hospital for a back surgery.
Oh,
the performing physician was Dr. Preston Phillips. Mr. Lewis was released on 5/24, May the 24th. After release, Lewis called several times over several days, complaining of pain and wanted additional treatment. On May 31st, Dr. Phillips saw Mr. Lewis again for additional treatment. Yesterday, June the 1st, Lewis called Dr. Phillips' office again, complaining of back pain and wanting additional assistance. Now, we know through the help of our ATF.
Wait, I don't understand. Hold
First,
on.
Lewis
Sorry.
called Dr. Phillips' office again, complaining of back pain and wanting additional assistance. Now, we know through the help of our ATF and their gun tracing that at 2 p.m. on June the 1st, Mr. Lewis purchased a semi-automatic rifle from a local gun store.
Dude, he bought the fucking gun literally right before he did the mass shooting. Like, how are you going to look at this fucking story and be like, oh, it must be the painkillers. Oh, he was mentally unwell. Like, of course he was mentally unwell. Like, no one who is mentally well is, like, fucking doing mass shootings, okay? Not a single person's like, I am so fucking with it, dude. I'm going to do a fucking mass shooting. Like, of course they're mentally unwell. Fuck. It's like a given. It's not a thing that you can fucking say, you can point to. Okay? The problem is they also offer no solutions to that, to like, stop someone from being able to purchase that if they are mentally unwell. Okay? But also, once again, dude, when guns are readily available in a country that is sick, a country that is just diseased, a country that's just like so incredibly fucking mentally ill, a country where there isn't adequate medical coverage for you, okay? Shit like this is going to keep happening. And we are going to keep being like, oh, I wonder why this is happening. Like, it's so strange. It's so weird. Like, why does this keep happening in America? And, like, no other comparable nation. What's happening is we have too many fucking guns, dude. And it's super easy to get guns. So many mass shooters buy their guns right before the shooting, and yet the argument we hear over and over is that there are just too many guns already in circulation to even bother for the permanent purchase reforms. Yeah.
That semi-automatic rifle was an AR-15 style rifle. We know that
it's just like something's got to be fixed. Either you got to fix the mental health and like actually provide adequate medical care for every American, you know what I mean? Like, and fix the underlying material problems that create this incredible environment for mental illness to manifest and fester, or you got to take the guns away. One or the other. Like, you can't simultaneously be like, nah, the fucking root causes that are creating this kind of like insane behavior, we're not going to solve that shit, obviously. And then also we're going to make it easier to buy guns, which is precisely what the fucking Republican Party has done thus far. It is crazy. So I know Noam Chomsky is correct when he says Republican Party is the greatest terror cell on the planet. It straight up is. They are the most successful terrorists, dude. And this is like their hobby. This kind of domestic terrorism that we are experiencing is just like the hobby thing for them. The real shit is like climate change and like, never-ending wars. And the Democratic Party also obviously plays a role in this. Like, it's crazy. This is just a side quest for them. You know what I mean? Let's make sure that women kill themselves because they can't get an abortion. You know what I mean? If they're raped or whatever, who cares? Fuck them, right? Like that's a side quest for the Republican Party. Aesthetic J-Mac, you're a lib? Yes. I've been libbing, aka lubing your mom up every night. Fucking got him. All right,
Mr. Lewis purchased a semi-automatic handgun, a .40 caliber Smith & Wesson pistol, on May the 29th from a local pawn shop. Thus far, we have recovered 30 .223 casings from the crime scene. We have also recovered 7 .40 caliber casings from the crime scene. We have also found a letter on the suspect which made it clear that he came in with the intent to kill Dr. Phillips and anyone who got in his way. He blamed Dr. Phillips for the ongoing pain following the surgery.
Hi, everyone. George Steph.
Yeah. See, there's only one thing in all of these mass shootings that is consistent, right? And conservatives will try to say, like, holy fuck, live recap, 8,000 people watching only. The fucking fall of the Law and Crime Network is crazy right now, bro. 9,000 people watching now. 9,000 people watching the recap. That's wild. People just were like, all right, we're done. All right, Amber Heard, fuck her. You know, it's over. You're pro gun control, but you just murdered that person who called you a lib? Yeah, exactly. But I murdered them with my words. And I should not be able to murder them with weapons. Okay, that's my point.
Turning now to...
Now that we found out what happened in Oklahoma, the consistent factor in all of these mass shootings, once again, regardless of what conservatives try to say, is the gun. That's it. It's a mass shooting. It's a gun. Okay. In most instances, it's a long barrel assault weapon. Okay. What is known as an AR-15. Put some fucking regulation around that shit, man. Come on. The trial had its metaphorical orgasm, and now the viewers are getting out before someone tries to cuddle. Why do people say that a 22 is basically harmless? It won't kill you or what? Non-American, by the way. I mean, a 22 can absolutely kill you depending on where you're aiming it at. If you aim it at your leg, aim it at your head, if you aim it at your heart, yes, it will kill you. I don't know why people say or act like it doesn't fucking 22s don't kill you. It 100% does. Guys, you can be killed by like a fucking prop gun that's not even shooting a real bullet, like but a blank, but with something lodged into it. Like, guns are incredibly dangerous. And for the record, when people say 22s don't kill, isn't 22 the most deadly caliber, actually? Like, obviously it's not, but it's the if I'm not mistaken, the 22 caliber is it's the most deadly because it's the most common used. It's the most commonly used for murders, I think. Like the caliber that has killed the most people, if I'm not mistaken, is 22, maybe. But I might be wrong on that. But I think that is the most that has killed. Statistically, yeah. Let's see. The association of firearm caliber with the likely death from gunshot injury and criminal assaults. A cross-sectional. It's got. You think it's 9mm, chat? It doesn't go through your body and bounces around too much. Worse for recovery. Foundational issue in firearms. Okay, which one was it? Exposures. Will the victim die of gunshot wounds? Final 511 gunshot? No. It's 9mm and then 22? Okay, that makes sense. $9mm hollow point is the deadliest. 22s don't punch through and will follow bone up through the body. Homosexuals right now. I know it's gross. It's gross. It's gross. We're literally giving in to the gun perverts currently. Like what we're doing. This is the most fun gun pervert. Gun perverts are like, please keep talking about this. Please, I'm about to come. Please. I love talking about caliber. I love talking about caliber. Please do not stop. Oh my God, I'm about to come.
To Uvalde, Texas, we are learning dramatic new details from a mom who ran inside the school as the shooting unfolded to get her children out. She was among the parents who were held back by police while their children were trapped inside Robb Elementary School. Lilia Luciana spoke exclusively with the mother. Lilia, we've seen these headlines from this story, and it's just the more you hear, the worse it gets. Good morning to you.
That's right. Good morning, Gail. We spoke with Angeli Gomez. She had two of her sons who had graduations that morning. She came to Robb Elementary. She's a farm worker. She was telling me that she was embarrassed to take photos with them because her clothes were dusty, but her kids convinced her, and she's glad she did that because those could have been the last photos she took with them. Her children are safe, but after that happened, she went back to work, and while she was at work, within 10 minutes, her mom called her frantically saying there was a shooter. So like many parents, she got in her car and drove like 100 miles an hour to get to the school. Here's what she told us.
Right away as I parked, U.S. Marshals started coming toward my car saying that I wasn't allowed to be parked there. And he said, well, we're going to have to arrest you because you're being very uncooperative. I said, well, you're going to have to arrest me because I'm going in there, and I'm telling you right now, I don't see none of y'all in there. Y'all are standing with snipers, and y'all are far away. If y'all don't go in there, I'm going in there. He immediately put me in cuffs.
She says after Uvalde police officers told marshals to uncuff Gomez, she ran towards the school.
As soon as they uncuffed me, I jumped that first gate fence. And once I jumped it, I went to my son's class, and I knocked on the door, and I remember the teacher saying, I'm like, hey, they're already boach cut.
Completely unrelated to the hero mother, who's of course done way more than a cop ever would. But Chipotle sent me my bowl with a fucking spoon. Very interesting. What the fuck will I do with this, Chipotle? Thank you. But I think I'm going to need a fucking fork. I'm eating a salad bowl after all. Okay.
Cutting the fence to get me. She's like, you think we have time to get out? I said, y'all have time. I'm going to run for my other son.
Once she was assured her son was okay, Gomez ran to get her other child, encountering more officers who tried to stop her.
Oh,
so I start yelling, and I'm being a cooperative, and I'm like, well, y'all aren't doing what are y'all doing? Y'all ain't doing y'all need to be in here. Give me your vest. Somebody give me a vest. Something. I started paying attention to how far the shots were being, so that I knew the shooter was all the way still by my first son's class. So when I went to my second son's door, the teacher didn't want to open the door for me. So that's when they started escorting me out. And as I see that they're opening my son's door, I go run for my son, and I get him.
With both of her kids out safe, Gomez still can't shake the thought of those who didn't make it. While you were inside the school, did you see officers
there was
inside
not one
the school?
Officer inside the school when I ran to my second son's class. There was not one officer.
And you were hearing gunshots, so you knew
you
that
could hear the
it was
gunshots.
an active shooter.
It was still active. The gunshots were still active. They were not in there. There was no one in there. If anything, when I pulled up, my car was closer to the school than where the snipers and everybody that was laying on the ground were.
When you heard that it took law enforcement 75 minutes before they went in and stopped the shooter, what was your thinking, having been inside the school yourself?
I don't know. I was just thinking that they could have saved many more lives. They could have gone into that classroom and maybe 2 or 3 would have been gone, but they could have saved the whole class. They could have done something. Gone through the window, sniped them through the window. I mean, something, but nothing was being done. If anything, they were being more aggressive on us parents that were.
No, she doesn't understand. They just didn't have enough money. And also because like they didn't have like big enough caliber rifles. Like they needed a javelin missile. And also the $4 million of the $10 million that they got from the state was simply not enough. And also they were being very mean to the cops. I don't know if you know this, but like the George Floyd protests happened and cops were not feeling it. You know, they were not feeling good. The vibes were totally fucked. And, you know, have you ever tried to stop a school shooting? Like the one time when you're supposed to be a cop and like do the thing that cops are supposed to do, but then the vibes are off and you can't do it? Well, I mean, yeah. Yeah, they only had level 4 body armor. And also the vibes were fucked. So obviously that's the reason why. And could you do that? Could you do that job? It's like, well, dude, I can't kill people. Sometimes I want to, but it's very illegal for me to kill people, okay? So like you can do that. And if you can do that and you have a gun to do that, like then do it. You know what I mean? Like you have a lot of amenities that I don't have. What do you mean Pepela? Okay, dude, come on. I'm being a little honest here. About self-control, controlling your urges.
We're willing to go in there, and like I told one of the officers, I don't need you to protect me. Get away from me. I don't need your protection. If anything, I need you to go in there with me to go protect my kids. And if anything, they were being more aggressive on us. They were more pertaining on keeping us back than getting into that school.
Many parents have expressed that same frustration that they weren't being let in. Of course, law enforcement couldn't let all the parents in for everyone's safety, and so they could focus on evacuating the children. Now, in terms of where she was, it sounds like she was at a different area from where those 19 officers were. We know from law enforcement that there were officers that were right outside of where the shooting was happening, and Najeli said she was within earshot. In terms of the wait now, law enforcement has admitted, Gail, that this was a big and costly mistake.
Boy, yeah.
Oh, that's one way to put it. My heart's racing, Lily, listening to Mrs. Gomez. Number one, that's one of the most articulate, most graphic descriptions from somebody who was there, who really was telling us in real time what was happening. I'm so glad she's all right and that she got her children, and she's raised a lot of disturbing questions.
A lot of parents
about what
watching
went
at
on
home
that
are
day.
nodding along as she's talking.
Yeah, the whole time.
Right,
that was riveting.
She knows,
Go ahead, Lilia. Go ahead.
She knows many parents who lost their kids. She works with one of those parents who lost their kids, so she feels lucky for her children, but she's struggling.
Yeah, I can see that too. I feel that. Lilia, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know the procedures for law enforcement, so it's hard for me to speak on why they did or did not do something.
Yeah.
But like you said, her account, very articulate, very graphic, very heroic.
Yes.
There is nothing like a mother who wants to save her child and what she'll do to go through that.
She was not exaggerating.
Not at all.
She was just telling us what happened to her that day.
Running through a school.
This news is so bad.
Verdict and judgment.
All right. Speaking of CBS News, let's talk about the main story of the day. A lot of people think, what timestamp man's incredible take on this?
Of their fellow citizens who view the world in a Manichaean lens, where everybody is basically a threat, and not just others, not just like racialized others, but basically anybody who would have a demand on you, anyone who would ask you to do anything that would inconvenience you, or to make your day less purely enjoyable by your own narrow lights.
Well, I'm not gonna watch this. I love Matt, but I'm not gonna watch this right now. All right. The Queen is still alive. This guy is dead, though. Oh shit! The Queen came out. Queen Elizabeth II makes her first appearance at Platinum Jubilee with her cousin Prince Edward, Duke of Kent. Wait, what? What the fuck? Isn't that? Wait, is this guy alive too? Bro, there's no way this guy's alive, dude. Bro, what happened to homie's ear, dude? Ah!